Here at Iconic Motorbikes, we get all kinds of incredible motorcycles, and this one is no exception. This is a 1998 Aprilia RS250, although it is a little bit different than some of the other bikes that we offer because this one is actually something that I picked up for myself. I'm going to be putting up on the auction site very soon, just in the next couple of days, but before we do that, we wanted to give one last hurrah, explain why I think this bike is so cool, and also give you a little bit of a soundtrack. We're going to take it out to the rock store, get a few good roads in, let you hear what this two-stroke motor sounds like on the pipe, and hopefully the next owner will get to enjoy a little bit of that soundtrack as well. Let's get rolling.
So let's just get the boring stuff out of the way first. It's a 1998 Aprilia RS250. That year was the last year that Aprilia made significant changes to the bike. 41mm Showa forks, adjustable of course. They changed the seat design, and more importantly, they gave it a little bit more power in the motor. So you're looking at about 55 horsepower, but of course on a two-stroke, you're only really getting that in a very narrow band of the revs. Weight's about 308 pounds, which is one of the reasons I love this bike. I mean, that, especially for a bike that's not a track bike, it has full street lighting kit, your mirrors, your turn signals, all that fun stuff. That is an impressively low number. It's one of the reasons why this thing is so much fun. Where it's not as much fun is right now. It's actually one of the reasons that I'm letting this go. I originally picked it up in the hopes that it could be like a second commuter bike for me, that kind of thing. But it's just the way that the bike makes power and that kind of thing. If you're going between stoplight to stoplight, you really have to slip the clutch to get anything going. Otherwise, the bike is completely dead off the line. And it's just, it's not really fair to the bike, and you don't really want to cruise on the highway with it either. So it leaves just Sunday pleasure rides, which is what we're going to do and have some fun with this bike before the next owner gets it. So don't mind that max RPM light. It's a programmable shift light, and for some reason the previous owner set it at 6K. I haven't bothered to change it, but 6K is basically where the party starts anyway. So you'll be seeing a lot of that red light in this video today. So again, acceleration off the line is so bad that I don't even really cut up to the front of the line in these cases because I feel like I'm gonna get in the way of whatever car is at the front. In fact, I'll try to kind of show you here, if I don't slip the clutch too much, what happens. Yeah, even then I slipped it, but cool dog. From afar, I honestly wasn't sure if that was a cool dog or a short lady with really frizzy hair, but it's a cool dog. Alright, quick gas stop interlude. This bike has the oil injection system working, so that's nice. I don't have to worry about it too much. Although it's funny, this is how you refill the oil. See, it's not just a case of popping the cap off. You gotta take that bolt off first. So they don't make it as easy as they probably should. Thankfully, kickstarting it is very easy. And now we're out of the city. Let's see if we can open it up a little bit here on PCH. Oh, good timing. Oh man, I mean, if you're used to 4 strokes and if you love torque like I do, it can be a little, I don't want to say tedious, but it can be frustrating when you have to toddle with this thing in traffic and things like that. But as soon as you open it up and get it on the pipe and you're kind of in that 9,000 to 10,000 RPM range, it's such a joy, and it's so cool to get that kind of sensation out of a 250cc motorcycle. All right, Las Flores Canyon. This is what this bike's all about. Oh man, what a day to ride a bike.
Now that is an amazing way to spend a morning. The weather was perfect, the road surface was generally good, and I got plenty of opportunities to really get this thing on the pipe and experience what an RS250 should be like. Out on open roads, lots of good speed, lots of good corners, not really that traffic and that kind of stuff. It's funny, this bike, riding this bike, I should say, makes me realize how lazy of a motorcyclist I've become in certain ways. On the street, I generally prefer big, torquey twins, huck it into a corner. It doesn't even really matter what gear you're in because you can just power your way out of it. You can't do that with this. This is the exact opposite. You really have to plan ahead. You have to be in the right gear. If you are not on the pipe, on this bike, it's generally above 8K RPM where it's making good power. If you come into a corner or you're coming out of a corner and if you're not at that engine speed, it's just gonna fall flat on its face. You could look at that as a tedious thing, and I think if you're commuting, it would be, but I actually found that to be incredibly fun as a challenge, especially today when there wasn't much traffic and we got to enjoy the open roads. So from someone who normally rides 4 strokes, the constant gear shifting and being very, very attentive about what revs you're at was an interesting experience, as was the almost complete lack of engine braking, which kind of spooked me a few times. I'm used to having a lot of engine braking. It's something that I think I love because I'm used to it. But again, it's just one of those things that makes this a challenge, which I found really rewarding about this bike. So if you couldn't tell, I really did love riding this bike today, which does kind of beg the question, why am I gonna let it go? To be frank, I don't own a car. I only have motorcycles, and my motorcycles need to be at least somewhat practical for me. And so the fact that I can only truly really enjoy this out on a Sunday ride means that I think it needs to go on to the next owner who will give it a good home. I need something that I can ride more regularly. It's kind of it's one of those things where my personal circumstance doesn't allow to have this. It's the same reason I don't have a dog. But just like a little puppy, this thing is really energetic and it's a lot of fun. It's going to make someone really happy. One of the things that I alluded to earlier in the video is that this bike is kind of a unicorn because it is a California plated Aprilia RS250. It's really hard to get a license plate in this state for a 2-stroke. And so selfishly, I'm kind of hoping that the next owner remains in California and gets to take advantage of that. But at the end of the day, whoever gets to enjoy this thing, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed getting to hear it rip around the Mulholland Highway area for a bit. And I hope you get to do the same because this is truly a fun way to enjoy 2 wheels. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.